Hello sailors, this is the Dodgy Kebab and you are watching a video that explores the idea that Blizzard changing vanilla might be for the best. I'm sure right away some of you are foaming at the mouth in rage that I could even suggest such a thing, but hear me out, you might be surprised. So Blizzard have heard you and you have said that you wanted vanilla back, but what does this actually mean? Does this mean you want an official bug-free version of the custom 1.12.1 vanilla Nostarius was offering? Do you want some sort of vanilla that actually moves properly through 1.1 all the way to 1.12.2 with every single item modification and everything else that happened along the way? Or does it mean that you want to replicate the experience you had playing World of Warcraft for the first time? If it's the latter, then I'm sorry to tell you, but Blizzard releasing a bug-free Nostaria style server won't help you. The feeling of discovery is gone. You'll be playing the same game again, having a world full of people all embarking on a new journey and trying out what works is over, thanks to years of theory crafting. Right now, Blizzard is recreating vanilla in Warcraft Classic, and the idea of making changes to the game is dividing people's opinions. I mean, come on, if you start rebalancing the classes, then surely you have to start changing the values on the tier armor sets to accommodate this. Then before you know it, are you even still playing vanilla? But then again, what is vanilla in the first place? Unlinked flight paths? Having to queue at PvP portals for battlegrounds? Only 2 auction house locations? These things are vanilla too, but do you want them back as well? The fact is, vanilla means something different to everyone, and only one thing about it is shared by everyone. It was the first time. So what if class changes were made? Changes like cooldowns, damage amounts, and required reagents could keep in style with how vanilla plays, but could reset years of theory crafting back to zero. All the class guides would have to be written from scratch, and the journey of discovering what your character can really do would begin again. What if we went beyond that? What if changes to quests were made? The position of the lockbox under the water in Lakeshire is known by everyone and their dog. What if we made it a random spawn location in that same stretch of water? How about we change the location of Goldtooth to somewhere else inside the Fargo Deep Mines? Little changes to the quest like this, and all of a sudden the quest guides are obsolete, thus bringing back the original vanilla questing feeling of having to work it out yourself. Of course, things like the game's much slower pace when compared to Legion, and not having community destroying features like garrisons and raid finder are important too. But I don't think anyone serious about replaying vanilla is actually looking for these features in the first place, so I think we should discount those sort of ideas straight away. But working on small tweaks to what we already have could do something that a Nostarius style official Blizzard vanilla server could not, and that is bring back that journey of discovery. Over the last few years, many of us have already played vanilla to death, so personally I find the idea of Blizzard refreshing vanilla quite appealing. So long as they can do this and keep all the changes within the slower, grind heavy style of vanilla, I think you'd have the best of both worlds. A version of Warcraft that has the gameplay style that I like, but mixes it up enough so that the guides all become irrelevant. There are also changes that can be made that actually make a lot of sense, even if you disagree with what I've said so far. Something like Zul'Gurub was designed as a stepping stone to go between UBRS and Molten Core. It was designed to be in between those two things.
This game is being built around you. We felt like the players had a need for a stepping stone dungeon between Upper Blackrock Spire and Molten Core. This was the community who asked us for it. We shift our development priorities around and made Zul'Gurub a 20-man raid zone.
So sticking to a patch schedule that actually has it released well after Molten Core makes zero sense. I mean, why release content that was designed to fit in between UBRS and Molten Core after Molten Core? Sure, that was the way it was released, but when the game was first released, it was possible to have a 40-man Dead Minds group. Do you really want that too? Diamond was not released until patch 1.3. Do you really want Warcraft Classic to launch without Diamond? So if you think that Vanilla is the game that it was in 1.12.1, then get ready for some nerfed content, because by this point of the game there are a lot of things that were much easier than they were just a few patches before. So if Blizzard does decide to release a Nostaria style bug-free progressive classic server, even that would still be different to how the content was actually released in the first place. So the way I see it, unless you actually release the game patch by patch, locking off stuff like Dire Maul, Mordaron, hell, even PvP battlegrounds like Warsong Gulch were not released until 7 months after launch. Unless you launch without that stuff and just bring it in just like Blizzard did during retail vanilla, you are still changing the game. So if you're going to change the game, why not improve it at the same time? Change how you release the content so it actually makes sense. If you're going to change the game and then break it away from the theory crafting to actually reproduce the feeling that the game gave you that first time, I think what I'd like people to take away from this video is the following. Remove whatever idea you have in your mind as for what Vanilla WoW should be, as chances are it's not the same thing as what the next person thinks vanilla is. I know for some people change is scary, but it's possible that change is what you will enjoy more. You just don't know it yet. Right, that's it. Have that.